a boy discreetly passed a secret note to a Marine. Upon reading it, the Marine swiftly called for backup. What happened next is unbelievable. The U.S. Marine was halfway across the lawn of the Washington Mall when he felt a tug on his sleeve. It was a young boy, around 8 or 9 years old. The Marine immediately crouched down to meet the boy's gaze. The child didn't say a word, but with wide eyes and an air of uncertainty, he handed the Marine a note before quickly running off. Puzzled, the Marine unfolded the note and read it. The words on the slip of paper sent alarm bells ringing in his head. He shot to his feet, pulled out his cell phone, and dialed the number. He needed backup, and he needed it now. 8-year-old Keenan Williamson sat at a kitchen table in a tiny apartment he shared with his mom, doing his homework and waiting for their brief time together. She left for work at 5 a.m. and returned around 5 p.m. For 30 minutes each evening, she would listen to Keenan's stories about his day. They'd share a meal before she rushed off to her second job. Keenan knew his mom did everything she could to make ends meet, and he saw the toll it took on her, visible in her exhausted eyes, slumped shoulders, and the strained attempts at a smile. At 5:05, he got up to open the apartment door for her and saw her coming up the stairs. She looked especially tired today, and her frown told him she was carrying something heavy on her heart. They hugged and held hands as they walked into the apartment. She sat at the kitchen table with him in silence. He could see she was gathering the courage to tell him something important, and he let her take her time. Keenan reached across the small round table and placed his hand on hers. Jennifer Williamson looked at her son, struggling to find the words. She knew that what she had to say would shatter the little bit of peace he had and upend his entire life. But she had no choice. He had to know. After all, they were all each other had. It was the two of them against the whole wide world. "Keenan," she said, "I need you to be brave. I have something to tell you." She could already see the worry on his little face, and it broke her heart. Keenan had grown up so fast after his dad left. Almost instinctively, he started helping out around the apartment while she was at work. He washed the dishes, cleaned the living room, and kept his bedroom tidy. If she let him, he would do the laundry, but she didn't want to burden him with that. He already understood too much for his age. Jennifer took a deep breath, steadied herself, and took both his hands in hers. She explained that she had been to the doctor twice in the past 2 weeks. The first visit was for tests. The second, today, was to get the results. And the news was bad. She had breast cancer. The doctor discussed treatment options, but the prognosis was poor. The doctor said she might have only 6 months to live. Jennifer tried to choose the gentlest words, not wanting to burden her son more than necessary. However, she knew that hiding the truth wouldn't help him in the long run. She watched Keenan's young face scrunch up as the news sank in. His eyes filled with tears, and he wiped them away with the back of his hand. Jennifer squeezed his hands and promised she would fight the illness with all her strength. But the treatments and medication were expensive, and she wouldn't be able to work as many hours. They would have to manage with less money. By now, Jennifer was crying too. She watched as Keenan's demeanor changed. He did what he always did to comfort her. He became an adult. When he put on his brave face, he instantly looked 10 years older. He was showing her that he had her back and would do anything to help her get better. But in her heart, Jennifer knew there was no getting better this time. She squeezed his hands again and told him the rest. "With my work being limited now, Keenan, our Christmas plans won't be as grand as we hoped," Jennifer said, her voice trembling. For half a year, she had diligently set aside a little money each week, all for the sole purpose of giving Keenan the most magical Christmas ever. Over the past month, whenever they had a moment together, they'd laugh, planned, dreamed, and eagerly anticipated the holiday season. Despite their challenges, it was going to be a perfect celebration. Keenan managed a faint smile. "It's okay, Mom," he reassured her. "We'll still have a great time. We'll be together, and we can save all our plans for next year when you're feeling better." Jennifer struggled with how to explain to him about next Christmas. Actually, she didn't know how she would ever tell him. In his room, Keenan's emotions were turbulent. Part of him was deeply sorrowful, knowing his mom's illness meant she might not be around much longer, and it scared him, bringing tears to his eyes. Yet another part of him, the part that crafted Keenan's plans, emerged. He pushed his sadness aside and focused on his creative side, determined to give his mom the best Christmas ever. He didn't know how yet, but he was resolute. When Keenan set his mind to something, he could achieve it. The following day at school, Keenan found it hard to concentrate. Teachers in his first 3 classes scolded him for daydreaming, which was true, though he kept the reasons to himself. By lunchtime, he had formulated a plan. By the end of the school day, his idea had crystallized. The bus halted a block away from their apartment, and Keenan sprinted off, his mind fixed on a particular book. It was the final piece he needed. Rushing home, he dashed to his room and swiftly scanned his bookshelf. There it was, Practical Steps for Young Entrepreneurs. He spent hours absorbed in its chapters, reading and rereading one section. The next morning, Keenan woke before his mom and prepared her breakfast. Balancing the tray, he nudged open her bedroom door with his foot and approached her bedside. "My sweet boy," she greeted him upon wakening. "You're my little angel." While she nibbled on her food, he broached the important topic. "Could we visit the city mall after school?" "What's your plan there?" his mom inquired, a furrow forming on her brow. "It's for a school project. I have to interview several people, ask them questions, and write down their answers," he explained. Keenan felt uneasy about deceiving his mom, but this detail was crucial for his plan to succeed. His mother frowned and deliberated, but eventually agreed to let him go for just 1 hour. Keenan knew he couldn't afford to risk detention for not paying attention in class during first period. That would derail everything. So during break time, he found a quiet corner in the cafeteria and began writing. After numerous revisions and corrections, he felt satisfied with his work. Now, on to the next step of his plan. Referring to the book's instructions, 50 copies, he hurried to the administration building, relieved to find an available copier just before the break ended. The remainder of the school day passed calmly for Keenan. He had completed his tasks around 3 p.m. He disembarked from the bus and entered the mall. Recalling the advice from his book on young entrepreneurs, specifically the chapter on marketing, he surveyed the bustling mall. There were certainly more than 50 people around. According to the book, after finalizing your business plan, intensive marketing was crucial to kickstart things, starting with engaging with at least 50 people about your idea. Keenan was determined to find these 50 people and distribute the carefully written note he had prepared. All it would take was one person for his plan to succeed. Just one. It had to work. Andrew Stiles had enlisted in the U.S. Marines 3 years earlier, currently assigned to the squad guarding the West Wing of the White House. He was taking a break and walking through the mall to clear his mind. That's when a young boy approached him and discreetly handed him a note. There was something about the boy that Andrew sensed even before he had opened the note. As he unfolded and read it, he swallowed hard, holding back tears. This boy needed assistance, and helping others was what the Marines were trained to do. Andrew retrieved his cell phone from his pocket and made a call. "Everyone," he announced as he finished the conversation. "No excuses. We've got a mission." He gathered his fellow Marines near Connecticut Street. Once they were assembled, Andrew took charge. "There's a boy," he began solemnly. "His mother is very ill. He's one of our own, and he's got heart. Here's the plan." The Marines leaned in attentively, listening to Keenan's story and Andrew's strategy. Keenan was immersed in his homework, his attention divided by his mother's restlessness in the bedroom. He could hear her discomfort and was preparing tea when the phone suddenly rang. "Is this Private Williamson?" the voice queried from the other end. Keenan, taken aback, replied, "This is Keenan. Who are you trying to reach?" "I'm Sergeant Andrew Stiles," the voice responded firmly. "You reached out to us for help, and now we're here to assist." In an instant, Keenan connected the dots. He had handed a note to just one soldier at the mall the previous day, so this had to be him. "Can we meet?" the Marine inquired over the phone. "Maybe tomorrow after school." The following afternoon, as Keenan emerged from school, he was greeted by 3 Marines in full uniform patiently awaiting him. They welcomed him warmly, treating him as one of their own, which filled him with immense pride. Over burgers, they listened attentively as Keenan outlined his plan, emphasizing his need for adult assistance to bring it to fruition. He expressed his heartfelt desire to give his mom the most memorable Christmas, especially given her uncertain health. The Marine smiled encouragingly at him. Andrew spoke up, "You've come to the right place, soldier. That's what we're here for. Let's discuss our plan." Andrew was deeply moved by Keenan's determination. They were committed to making the boy's dream of an extraordinary Christmas a reality. Yet Andrew was also plotting his own surprise, something that would catch both Keenan and his mother off guard and potentially transform their lives. He dialed a number once more. Meanwhile, Keenan eagerly began marking the days until Christmas. He anticipated something magical. He had developed a strong fondness for the Marines he had met, confident that they would spare no effort. Now, all he had to do was keep the surprise hidden from his mom. On Christmas morning, Keenan assisted his mom out of bed with gentle care. He prepared a bath for her, laid out her clothes, and offered words of encouragement despite her evident pain. Later, he guided her into the kitchen and seated her at the table. "What mischief are you brewing, Keenan?" she asked teasingly, a sparkle in her eyes. "I can tell you're up to something." Then came a knock at the door. "You stay there, Mom. I'll get it," Keenan said swiftly, rushing to open the door. Standing there were 9 Marines, each holding something special. One carried a turkey, another a gammon, while others brought assorted vegetables and desserts. 2 men carefully maneuvered a fully adorned Christmas tree through the door. Another Marine held a bag filled with beautifully wrapped Christmas presents. "Where shall these go, Private?" Andrew inquired cheerfully. Keenan returned the smile and directed them to a spot for the Christmas tree before guiding them into the kitchen. "At your service, madam," Andrew introduced himself as Sergeant Andrew Stiles of the U.S. Marine Corps when Keenan ushered them into the kitchen. "Please have a seat. Lunch is on us." Tears streamed down Jennifer's cheeks as she embraced Keenan. "Did you organize all of this?" Another knock sounded at the door. "I'll get it. I know who it is," Andrew said before returning with an older, distinguished man a few moments later. "This is my father," he announced proudly, "Dr. Quentin Stiles. He's an oncologist." Unmentioned by Andrew was the fact that Dr. Quentin Stiles was renowned as one of the country's top oncologists, often regarded as a miracle worker. Patients with the most dire prognosis sought him out, and he had a remarkable track record of curing them. 1 year later, Keenan and Jennifer sat in their living room. A small Christmas tree adorned one corner, and the aroma of roasting turkey filled the air. Christmas cards from Andrew and Quentin Stiles adorned the corkboard. "This Christmas is truly special, Keenan," Jennifer said with gratitude. "I'm only here because of what you did last year. You're a hero in every way." What a remarkable turnaround from a tragic story. Have you ever faced adversity only to have a U.S. Marine step in to lend a hand? Share your story with us in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. And until next time, I'm Mickey V. Take care.